Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Markets to Watch from Smack the Markets for week commencing the 10th of February. Now over the weekend we've had more cases now confirmed of the coronavirus in the UK. In fact, this has been having quite an impact on world trade and world economics around the globe. However, the sort of economic numbers that could be affected by this haven't been released yet. Those are likely to be coming through in forward quarters through 2020. Now, seemingly at the moment, the world's financial markets have been fairly robust against any concern over the potential impact that the virus may well be having. But there have been whole cities that have been shut down. Manufacturing for major corporations have been shut down and impacted because of the virus affecting companies in Asia. So it remains to be seen how this is likely to play out through the course of 2020. So let's have a look at a few markets here that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room this week, and how we're starting to view some of the sorts of risk that may well start to be coming back into the markets. Now, if we take a look at the Dow here, a good example of the US indices and the good US stock markets, we can see that the market here from last week here, we managed to push up to make again all-time highs, but then towards the latter half of the week, the market did sell off sort of quite sharply. In fact, we started to see and feel the impact of concern over the coronavirus starting to come into the markets. It's one of the first times that we've started to see that. So the Dow here did manage to sort of decline. It sort of closed around on Friday around our 2920 level here. And then once the market opened again on Sunday evening, we can see we've had this burst down to the next trading window, to close the next trading window, and then pull back to it. At the moment, it's still sitting around this 29.19 area. So we certainly got a very key decision point here. You know, is the market going to find support here and rally again, find some more strength as the stock markets, especially the US stock markets, have been very resilient lately? Or is this going to concerns start to come in and we can start to see some selling? And in which case, we're really sitting on quite a decision point here that we could see some really substantial moves in either direction. So at the moment here, our sort of view is really to be looking at how the market decides around this sort of decision point area. Clearly the trend at the moment is still long, but we're starting to see some weakness in momentum coming through. Now, again, if we start to see some weakness in the US equity markets, obviously breaks below these levels will actually start to trigger trading opportunities in between these trading windows. And if we're looking for continued weakness here, then we'll certainly be interested in some longer term weaker positions, just to see if these trends do sort of run back into some much deeper support levels. Now, if we're looking at sort of a risk off sentiment, and a risk off sentiment starts to come in this week, then we might start to see some money coming into precious metals, some into some safe havens like gold, for instance. Now, gold hasn't been particularly one of our favorite markets lately, and that's mainly because the technical structures haven't been particularly desirable. However, if we start to take a look at this now on the weekly chart, we can see that the market sort of is still within the context of a long move here. It's still certainly in a bull trend from a very high time frame perspective, and there is some support underneath where the market is at the moment. If we start to come down to the 4-hour chart here, one of the levels here that we've been most significant for us has been the 158 level through here. You can see that it's been previous support and resistance. It's been helpful for trading opportunities in the past back here. And if the market, I suppose, if the market gets above this level, we're already starting to see some sort of signs of early trend here. So again, if the market can get above this level, we'd certainly be interested in looking at new positions here above the 158 level, moving up to, well, moving up here, possibly up here towards the 1.6 and beyond. Now, if we come over to the currency markets, last week we were looking at the Kiwi CAD here, and we're looking at this and talking about this breaking down since last Monday. In fact, we had to wait until midweek before we could get positioned on this, and the market did play out as expected. So it's moved all the way down. We had some nice trades on this. We actually closed out on Friday, and the market's just kind of drifted sort of sideways since sort of Friday afternoon. At the moment here, the market's just sort of finding support around that sort of 85 level. You can see here that's been key support and resistance. Again, if there's continued weakness in this market underneath this level, puts us down into a new trading window down to around sort of 84.28 is the sort of next sort of structure point. If we're looking at sort of weak Kiwi, again, one market here that could start to look a bit interesting is Kiwi dollar. Again, the US dollar has seen a lot of strength over recent weeks. Again, that's been helped by not only the strength of the US economy, but also the safe haven status of the dollar as well. Now, taking a look at Kiwi dollar here, we can see that the market's been in a very nice trend to the short side. So very strong moves lower. Again, at this moment in time, the market's sort of finding a bit of support here around that 64 level. Starting to get a little bit of a bounce off this level at the moment. Now, if we come down to the 4-hour time frame, we can see that there's another level in here which coincides with the moving averages. So again, we've had a good move over last week. If we get a retracement back into resistance, this could be interesting areas where we could start to look for, again, more weakness coming back into this market. And if we just sort of zoom out of this, you'll see that level there sort of coincides with quite a bit of structure on the 4-hour time frame for Kiwi dollar. So again, at the moment, things are a bit extended, so we're expecting to see a bit of retracement back into some support areas where we might start to see a bit of weakness coming back in. Now, this, of course, is all evident of potential risk haven status improving, and if the concern of the coronavirus does continue through the markets in early week, then these markets may well start to continue to play out in these directions. So there's a few opportunities that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room at the start of this week. I certainly hope it helps, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.